Lance, welcome to the Line of Fire.
Thanks so much, Dr. Brown. Love the show. Quick question for you. We're hearing a lot of talk about the COVID vaccine that is to be forthcoming. And my question is, how do we balance as believers believing in divine health, divine protection, versus trying to be civilly obedient and comply with what the government is highly recommending that everyone be vaccinated?
Right. Got it.
I guess that's the question.
Yeah, it's a great question. So let's break it down into a few areas. Just in general, vaccinations, do we get a flu shot every year, et cetera? So that's one category. The second is this specific vaccine. Do we have any reason for concern? Because we've heard everything from there's going to be a microchip and that's going to be part of the Antichrist regime to, the vaccines developed using aborted baby parts. So the specific vaccine, that's the second question. And the third one is government mandates. So, for example, if the government said you must have this vaccine, otherwise you're not allowed to function in the society, how do we respond to that? So let's treat them in reverse order. I would be very concerned about anything that requires a particular vaccine, one that is not necessary to preserve your life. In other words, what is it? 1 in 1,000 people that get the virus will actually die from it. So if the government says you must have it, otherwise you can't leave the country, you can't get a passport, you can't go to your job, or then there has to be a healthy pushback, because that's definitely overreach. And the government doing that could do anything. And now you have to have a chip installed so the government knows where you are. Who knows what else is coming. So that would raise a concern to me if it is required and mandated. And that's what I would say leading Christian thinkers, not just people into wild stuff and conspiracy theory, but sober thinkers need to think this through on an ethical, moral level and give some guidelines for pastors and others to share with their flocks and for individual Christians to make right decisions. So that's the one thing. If it's mandated, you must have it, and there are restrictions if you don't. That, to me, is overreach from the government. That would really concern me. The second thing is the nature of the vaccine itself. I would put aside the fear-mongering and the concerns that this is preparation for the Antichrist and we're all going to be injected with a chip or something like that. I would need really hard, solid evidence that leading scientists verify and say, yes, this is the case. Otherwise, to me, that's just a conspiracy theory. If there's nothing specific that we can really determine about this, if it seems that the development has just been amazing work, folks really working hard, and something that positive in the midst of this that Trump's helped push forward, then I would just go to number one, which is, do I want a vaccine or not? I would say this: if you are in strong health with a strong immune system and you are not in a vulnerable category, you're not obese, you're not elderly, you don't have other conditions, then you might say, hey, I don't need this. There's no concern for it. If you are in any of the categories, or you have people close to you that are in those categories, then it may be a good thing to do. Just like putting on a seatbelt in your car, it is the law to do it, right? It is the law to wear a seatbelt, but I remember in the years before that was a debate among Christians. Do we wear it or not? Is that lack of faith? Well, it's got nothing to do with faith. It just has to do with practical wisdom. You're required to have your seatbelt on the plane and things like that. A couple of years ago, I thought I was doing a good thing. I was out at an airport and I saw a flu shot. So I got a flu shot and came home and told Nancy, she goes, why'd you do that? No need to. You got a strong immune system and the flu shot has other potential issues. Didn't do that afterwards. That was based on research she had done. So ultimately, that's a personal choice. But under no circumstances would I see it as lack of faith. Under no circumstances would I see getting a flu shot as lack of faith, unless you're in fear and thinking this is going to save my life and I can't trust God. That would be lack of faith. But otherwise, practical wisdom, way to help others, could be fine.